Well, before the top of the hour, give you guys enough time to get those bets in for the primetime games. And that's what we do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's deliver live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Play. So let's take a peek who's on the show with us for today. All right, we got Ruffolo with us. It's Wednesdays with Mitch. We got Fargo with us. Big Al McMordie, seriously checking out this Yankee game. Rod Zawacky. Wayne Scott, late scratch, and of course we'll also have Dana Lane here at bottom of the hour. Here's how they'll line up for this evening. Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Fargo, Scott, late scratch, Zawacky, Lane, and I'll close this one out. All right, we got NBA playing round Eastern Conference tonight. A couple games there. Still got work to do in the NHL. A few here, a couple primetime Major League Baseball games. So let's go ahead. Let's get the show underway. Let's go to welcome in Chris Ruffolo. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Catch him in the morning shows as well. We'll bring him in right now. Ready to roll here with Chris. We're set to go here. Baseball coverage today. Chris, what's happening?
Oh, I'm kind of just sitting on pins and needles.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Oh no, I'm just saying we're just all sitting on pins and needles here, waiting on the final of this Yankee game. So now we still got plenty of at least a couple evening games to talk about. So try to at least make some money in the evening. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, there's the evening games tonight. Of course, there's interest in this NBA doubleheader tonight. Of course, the Lakers getting the job done. Some people thought they might have been tanking. Maybe don't. I thought it was the right move to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to tell a team not to win a game. I mean, sometimes motivation behind the scenes, maybe could be a little bit different. But like you said, you're never going to tell a team not to win a game, especially when it means a ticket to the postseason. If you lost that game and you put yourself in a one and done situation tomorrow night or Friday night, that would have been extremely stupid in my opinion. So if I'm the Lakers, it was the right call all the way.
Yep, I have to agree with that. All right, let's get down to business now. Chris, we're going to look Major League Baseball here in about 45 minutes or so. Angels and Rays going head here. Rays $1.09. We see the total coming in 8.5.
Yeah, and I can understand why this line has started to drop a little bit, and I think there was a little bit more value closer to the open, but I'm still going to side with the Los Angeles Angels here. These two teams have split the first two games of this series so far, and you've got a great pitching matchup here in Littell versus Reed Detmers. And I remember, a time with Reed Detmers and the Angels where the Angels could not win a game with Reed Detmers on the hill. I think they had lost like 10 or 11 straight starts by Detmers, but now look at him. I mean, 3-0, a 1.04 ERA, 26 strikeouts to 6 walks. Littell's been solid as well, but the difference for me here is just when these two starters leave, the Rays are handing it off to a bullpen that's the worst in baseball, right now. So I know they're going to play to the back of their baseball card over the course of the season, and they're going to sort of figure some stuff out. But right now, this is a Rays team that just looks in complete disarray right now. I mean, the Rays, at one point, this was a team that prided itself on its pitching staff and being able to build one of the best pitching bullpens in all of baseball. But now a 6.92 ERA entering today's action. And the Angels not much better, but the fact of the matter is the Rays are the worst team in the league from the bullpen perspective. And I think that the Angels can take advantage here, especially if Detmers gives them another strong start. I expect Detmers, to hit 7 strikeouts once again. I mean, that's what he's hit in each of the 3 games so far this season. So I like Reed Detmers. I like the Angels here, plus money against the other Rays.
All right, we got Chris here on the Angels here, plus money here against the Rays tonight. Kind of tough break for the Angels. Got a little bit of offense in the bullpen. Had been performing well for the Angels until yesterday, but it was tough to go with that extra inning game.
Yeah, and I mean we've seen teams already this season get bit by sort of that extra inning, and then having the short bullpen the next day. And like you said, Tony, it kind of got to the Angels, but yeah, I don't know. I think I just trust the Angels to do a little bit more damage at the plate here, and I think they can get to Littell. I think, like I said, they can get to this Rays bullpen. And do enough to cash some plus money. Like I said, I like the value a lot more at the open when it was closer to plus 120 for the Angels, but I mean, still, any sort of plus money right now is value with me with LA.
Detmer's kind of deep in his games to start it off, so that's something to keep an eye on there. Hopefully can avoid some of these bullpen arms tonight, because they do have a day game tomorrow, so they got a lot of games, a lot of baseball to play here for the next 12 plus hours. All right, Angels here plus 103 against the Rays tonight, 6:50 Eastern time, about 45 minutes away. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dog here for tonight's action. Of course, on the board tonight, a few from baseball. There's 2 NBA playing round games as well as 4 on the ice. Chris, enjoy a good baseball year, as you can see. What do you have going over at Pick Dog Premium?
Yeah, I got still my NBA play of the day for tonight's play-in tournament action. Like you said, Tony, there's still some money to be made there. But yeah, that's all the baseball for me today. But best thing you can do is if you want, jump on that NBA play tonight or hop on a long-term pass. We're gonna have plenty of baseball throughout the week. NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs are here, so definitely a great time to hop on one of those. Also use that promo code PICK at checkout for 15% off your purchase, and pair me up with one of the other great handicappers or any of our other great handicappers as part of our multi-capper promotion at Pick Dogs.
That's right, guys. Going to go with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. You see the great results in baseball. No better time now to get on board with Chris on a long-term pass. Of course, with the NBA playoffs beginning on the weekend, and of course NHL as well beginning on Saturday. That's right. Even though on the NHL website it says no game scheduled, they will drop the puck for Game 1. I'm thinking, Chris, maybe Eastern Conference, right? Because Western Conference, all Western Conference games tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, it still wouldn't surprise me if teams from the West ended up playing that series. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they schedule it. But Tony, like you said, my assumption would be Eastern Conference first.
Yeah, it sounds that way. All right, Chris, it's always a great having a show. Continue success. We'll catch up with you again next week. Let everybody know we can catch a lot of your work over at Pick Dogs and writing form, as well as your video series, of course, with the NHL and, of course, morning show and, of course, your individual video picks.
Yeah, we got tons of content. We're working on the MLB tonight. I'm going to have plenty of action for the baseball throughout the week. And like you said, NBA and NHL playoffs are coming around. So definitely hit that notification bell to get notified when the newest content drops. The wraparound is still going to be covering for the NHL playoffs as well. So excited to start covering that. It's when NHL hockey's at its peak, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So definitely love all I'm doing here at Pick Dogs.
That's right. Any like we did last year, any Game 7 live streams with Rod?
We haven't talked about it yet. We'll have to see how these first couple series go, or the first couple games of the series go. So it could potentially be something that we explore. We'll have to talk about it.
All right, no doubt. All right, Chris, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Sounds good, Tony. Thanks. Take care.
You got Chris here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the drive-thru. Up next, of course, Wednesdays with Mitch. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Stream. Catch him on the morning shows. You guys know when to tune in. 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time during the week. Mitch, what's happening?
Not much, Tony. Just taking in the afternoon baseball action. I had a lot of premium plays and still waiting on a couple of these results. So see if we can get them. See if we can get these across. We got the looks like we've got the A's in as a plus money winner, and got our big plus money play, the Seattle Mariners on the run line. A lot of people out there are always like, "Oh, don't play the run line at home teams." It's like, trust me, man, I play it all the time, and we cash. Everyone knows I play aggressively and I play to win. You don't see me playing a lot of plus 1.5s. You don't see me playing a lot of favorites, but you show me a team that's the way better team at minus 1.5 at home at plus 160 plus odds. I'm all in all the time. So 3 solo home runs in this one. We saw Clase get his first stolen base as a major leaguer, and of course a little bloop single was no match for they didn't even bother to try and throw. It was like he was already home by the time the fielder had the ball. So and the Mariners I think they're still at bat in this inning. So no, actually they just got out with 5 across the plate. So hopefully they hold on for my run line there. The bullpen's been good in Seattle, so.
Yep, they have been. All right, Mitch, you're going to be looking at this one. Near and dear to his team, it's Heat, and Heat will be at 76. We saw 5 yesterday. We now see ticked up to 76ers 5.5. We still total 2 of 7.5.
We saw 6.5s here too in this game. So this game has been kind of all over the map. It's about Joel Embiid's status. Embiid's status. I know he's injured. And he came back and he got injured. And he's been on gentle, right? They've been treating him pretty gingerly here. So I expect that, an Embiid not at 100%, not even close. And, in this game, I was actually leaning Sixers, and I was talking about on the morning show. We've been talking about the NBA playoffs and the play-ins and everything all week on our morning show. And, I was ready to take the Sixers, and Jay Briggs is like, absolutely not. And then I looked at the NBA leaderboards and I saw Jay Briggs is like plus 3,600 units or something for NBA season. I was like, all right, I'm on the Heat then. It really didn't take much, to get me onto my team. But we know the Heat, when they get to the playoffs, just a totally different story. This team's been in the finals 2 of the last 4 years. They are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference. They came out of the play-in last year, beat the number 1 seed 4-1 like a drum, beat the Boston Celtics like a drum. They lost their opening play-in game last year, but went in as the 8th seed, and really it didn't matter because this team is so talented. And I think what it is that people get so used to seeing the injured Miami Heat all season long, and then they enter the playoffs, and they still usually are missing a player or two. Last year it was Tyler Herro missing from the lineup. This year a lot healthier than that, and just a better, stronger team and a deeper lineup than they had last year. And I can see where Jay's coming from. I'm going to roll with the Heat in this one. I'm going to take the points. I'm also going to play the money line here as well.
The money line and points at Heat here, plus 5.5 here against the Sixers. A lot of continuity on this Heat team. A lot of players have been together for some time. Had that good run last year. But one thing here that really catches my eye with this Heat team, we're looking at past 15 road games, 12-3 to the spread.
Yeah, the Sixers, of course, have a massive spread streak going in their own right, where they've covered the spread as well. I just think, you have a coach that's been there, done that. He's got some hardware in the closet as well as some rings in the jewelry box. And you got players that, have went to the NBA Finals last year up and down this roster, who went into Boston Garden in a Game 7 and pummeled the Celtics by a bundle, and who also, beat the Milwaukee Bucks, who were the number 1 seed last year, 4-1 like it was nothing. And, so these guys, they know how to win playoff basketball games. And I think for the Sixers, I think if Embiid is 100%, maybe it's a different story. But I think the Heat have more depth. They have more players. They have more stars, and I think they get it done.
All right, like we do here with Mitch here on Wednesdays, go over some of these day baseball games. We saw the Giants, again, beat the Marlins. The bullpens didn't blow up here. It looked too much. 3-1 here with the Giants winning.
Yeah, it was the bullpen again for the Marlins that gave up the lead, and it was actually the Rogers who started for the Marlins. It was his brother with the big shutdown inning for San Francisco to really kind of slam the door on the Marlins rally with a few strikeouts in there. So everyone knows I was glued to the set, watching these games today, and that was right out of the gate for the Giants.
Yeah, Giants there with that victory today. Twins and Orioles. Orioles again covered the run line 4-2 against the Twins.
Yeah, they did cover the run line, and the thing is that the Orioles actually they covered the reverse run line because they were actually dogs in this game against Pablo Lopez, who got taken deep in the first inning. The Twins then rallied for the lead, and then it was 2-2 late, and the Orioles plating 2 in the bottom of the 9th for the walk-off win at home in Camden. So it was an exciting game, but boy, the Twins, they just purely do not match up well with the Orioles this season, because this series has been ugly. I know they'll play again at Target Field, and they'll play again after that, but I think the Twins have to do something against this Orioles team to really put any kind of confidence that they can match up with them, because if you can't beat them with Pablo Lopez, who are you going to beat them with?
Yeah, that's a rough one there for the Twins to lose. I think Mets and Pirates. Mets continue with their offense explosion here. Beat the Pirates 9-1.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the Mets might be actually for real here as a sleeper team in the East. If you're winning with Luis Severino on the mound, we know the Mets are never shy when it comes to spending. So, as other teams start to unload a little bit later in the season, if the Mets can stay relevant, they will go out and get their guys to fill in this roster. And the bats is certainly not the problem. You've got Lindor and Alonso on this team, so you've got 2 of the better players in all of baseball. Best power hitter out there, and one of the best infielders / hitters as well. So you have a bunch of hitters in this lineup that can absolutely crush it. And the Pirates, I think this is a team that's probably going to be relevant till the All-Star break, but this probably isn't their year. They might be a year away from competing. One thing we saw from the Pirates last year, they did not have the fire sale at the trade deadline like they usually do. They traded away just the old guys like Rich Hill, is the type of players that they traded, instead of like young stars like Glasnow or Cole or, the guys that they normally get rid of. So, maybe they realize that they're fairly close as well.
Yep, no doubt. Rangers and the Tigers. Rangers with a 5-4 win.
This was an exciting game. This was a really exciting game, and the Rangers end up pulling it out in this one. They were a dog with Tarek Skubal going for the Tigers in that one. So the Rangers, got plus money on them in that game, and they came through. The games in this series, the Rangers certainly don't look like the team that they were last year. At the end of the season, But I think if they can hang in there, they're going to be okay. I think missing Young at third base, and Jay and I talk about this on the morning show a couple of times, and he's in touch with his Rangers. And the thing is that I think Young is a guy that you just don't think about as like a key player on this team, but he is an all-star. He is a power hitter. He is, one of the better third basemen in all of baseball. And he certainly is missing from this Rangers lineup, which is known for having power from top to bottom. But replacing him is impossible, with what they have. So, they're going to have to figure this one out.
Padres and Brewers, low scoring here. Brewers 1-0 short favorites here.
The Brewers finally get on the board in this series after Padres really playing well to start the series. This was a great tactical game, and this was one of those really, really quick ones.
Yeah, it was fast.
With the new rules and the low scoring. This was a fast game, man. If you looked up and looked down, you missed this one, but it was on there, and they just moved right along in this thing.
Yeah, that's what they got my attention. How quick the game ended. I was like, "What? It's over already?" Yep. Trying to keep track.
Yeah,
it was a huge morning afternoon lineup today. It's a lot.
I think that this game started, later than some of the other games, and it finished first.
Eastern.
I mean,
it
was
Eastern.
like,
it's 2 Eastern. It barely went up. I think it barely went 2 hours, if I wasn't mistaken.
It was fast. I'm trying to look for a time on the game. I don't see one, but it was one of those fast ones.
Yep.
Peralta. He didn't get the loss. It was King that got hung with the loss there for San Diego. I mean, this is the whole thing about starting pitcher, record. And I talk about it all the time in my videos. We talk about it all the time for years, right, on these shows. 7.2 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts, and he gets hung with the loss in the decision, man. That is a tough day at the office, and we're not even talking out of the number 1 spot. He pitched against Abner Uribe. It's like this was far away from you see Kershaw or used to see Bumgarner, guys like that lose these type of games. Randy Johnson, when he lost, it would be this type of outing. And a few of those this year.
The Mets pitchers. Yeah, remember the Mets pitchers a few years ago?
Yeah. Oh yeah, DeGrom and even King Felix.
Yeah.
The year he won the Cy Young.
Yeah.
But you look at Michael King. 7 1/3 and 2 hits, and he gets hung with a loss on his record. That is a tough one.
Yeah, no doubt. Royals to White Sox game 1. Royals get the better of them. Look at the line here. They get that line of respect here. 4-2 against the White Sox, and they're down 1-0 here in the bottom 4th against the Royals. White Sox up.
I gotta say, as a White Sox fan, that was about as depressing as it gets. Up 2-1 in the 8th inning and give up the 2-run home run. That the Royals get the lead with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and knocks it out over the fence. And there was no way the White Sox were going to recover from that.
Yep, they're facing Waka today. Up White Sox up 1-0, bottom 4th in game number 2 right now. All right, we'll continue here with Mitch here on our baseball rundown here from the completed games. Get his thoughts on them. Wow, boy, the Braves, they made my day today. Braves 5-4 at the Astros to come back there. They're down 4-2. They come in late and get it done.
Extra innings. I know a lot of people had run line on the Braves in this game, and they did not cash on that thing, as the Braves had a runner on the corner with 1 out and couldn't get him home. In the extra innings, they scored right out of the gate. They advanced the runner third, got the run home, and could not advance the other runner. But they held on for dear life there, as the Astros actually had a runner on third with just 1 out and could not get him home. They turned the double play, and it was game over.
All right, the Yankees do it 6-4 at Blue Jays.
Yeah, they make the comeback there on the Jays. The Jays led the bulk of this game. I know the Yankees were probably one of the most popular squarish choices out there today. I heard Yankees about 1,000 times in my YouTube comments, so I avoided this game and altogether. But it was one of those games. The Yankees put 4 runs up in the 9th inning. The Blue Jays certainly helped them out there. In that 9th, and you walk runners, and you walk them against the Yankees, you're going to pay the price. And this time it was Aaron Judge who delivered with 2 outs in the 9th inning, 2-run single. Dodgers
can't do a thing offensively. Nat goes out there, had a rough first inning, but the bullpen in the Dodgers, they have an off day tomorrow, so they could afford to bring in this call up from OKC. Respectable after the first year, but the Dodgers lose 2-0 to Nats.
Yeah, absolutely pathetic. I see, a manager being fired here for the team that's won one World Series in the last 35 years, though it gets treated like they're the 1927 Yankees every single year. I mean, we've been fading the Dodgers like no one's business. And I mean, if you can look at my YouTube comments, because I seem to draw the Dodger games every single day, and I take the other team and they just say, you take the Dodger, you just go against the Dodgers every single day. And I don't go against the Dodgers every single day. Once in a while, I'll throw in a rare total. It's rare. All the other days I go against the Dodgers, though, because it's money. I mean, we're getting 2-1 here. We got against Glass now the other night. We got 3-1 on our money, and we're going to continue to get big money here against the Dodgers. Normally I like to fade them most on the road, but Jake Irvin just showing that he was a man among boys today against that Dodgers lineup.
Yeah,
just a sad, pathetic state of affairs. I got to tell you, I played craps with Mark Walters, better craps player than the Dodgers are hitting right now.
Yeah, nationally, if we go look at the numbers over the past 3 years, they've been pretty good road dogs. They continue that again here because they've always been big dogs when you get them here. Cardinals, Athletics get it done 6-3.
Yeah, he was a big dog. He bought in for $350,000 at the table. The Cardinals and the A's. I had the A's in this one as a premium pick, so hopefully some people cashed in pretty good on this one. It was Blackburn Day, and it's on Blackburn Day we go for the A's, and that's exactly what happened here. Up against Steven Matz, a guy who we generally fade. The Cardinals, showed some moxie early. They stopped out the A's on a couple, where they had ducks on the pond with less than 2 outs, and the Cardinals stopped them out. But you can only hold them off from so long if Steven Matz is what you're throwing at him. And Steven Matz, he's going to serve up. And Oakland has those long alleys, in right and left, and of course right down center field. You got to hit it right in the right spot. It just seems like one of the easier triples in all of baseball. And the A's, they seem to find that spot against Matz several times.
Absolutely here. And of course, Cubs get it done at the Diamondbacks 5-3.
Yeah, I think the Diamondbacks, might be back end loaded like they were last year. I think the pitching staff just hasn't really put it together on this team, and that's really been the problem. The Diamondbacks had their chances in this game. I mean, they had plenty of chances. They scored that one run early, but they could have easily been up 4 or 5-0, at that point. And I think this is a team that they're benefiting because the West is so bad. So it's like, even though they're losing, they're still only 2 games back. And, they lost. They were 2 games back. The Dodgers lost. So they actually kept pace with them. The Padres, who were ahead of them, also 1 game back of the Dodgers, also lost. The only team that really did anything in the West today was the Giants. So, who gained a game, who are now 3 games back. So despite, these teams, none of them really doing much, we have a tight race in the West, and it traditionally is a tight division. We saw the Dodgers run away with it a couple of times, but that is rare that happens. And, like I said, 1 World Series in the last 35 years, man, they got to pick up the pace. You got that kind of payroll.
Absolutely, a little bit. We talked about this game already, 5-1. Reds.
Well, you look at the other teams in the division.
Yeah.
You look at the Diamondbacks and you look at the Giants. They have multiple World Series over that time. Other teams in their division. It's But anyways, go ahead.
Game we've talked about, Reds and Mariners. Mariners holding that 5-1 lead underneath the run line for Mitch. Reds batting here at the top of the 9th.
Yeah, I think that they're in big trouble. Austin Voth is in, and it's like, if you can get Voth pitching on his game, boy, you're really doing all the right things, because this guy, he's killed me so many times in the past. But this Mariners team, they hit in bunches, right? If they don't hit at all, or they hit in bunches. But man, this pitching staff is really, really good, because we saw Kirby struggle. Came out strong in his first start, struggled the next 2. Last outing, he was really, really good. Then today, last night we saw Logan Gilbert throw another gem. And then today, it was Miller, who was just, absolutely on fire as well. So, this Seattle pitching staff, their starters can go man for man with anybody out there. I mean, Castillo, I don't even think is rounded into form, but he's another one of those guys that comes out with a line like King had today and, takes losses, throughout his career. So, you need a guy that can handle that sort of thing. King, it'll be interesting to see how he comes out of it. 10 strikeouts, 2 hits, and a loss.
1 out now. Mariners 2 outs away. Nobody on base here for the Cincinnati Reds. Game in progress.
The Reds just look punchless. they're like punchless, you know.
It's tough,
they just look punchless out there.
It's tough for these teams that play in those, bandboxes, and they go into a stadium like Seattle,
Yeah, well, the pitching staff didn't hold up, and I mean, they left Abbott out there for it had to be 135 pitches or something. I mean, they just left him out there. He threw like 1,000,000 pitches, man. It was like crazy. And then they put Lucas Sims in. Yeah, Abbott threw. So in this box, man, have that. I'm gonna find it, but they left him out there, man. I can't even tell you. It just seemed like he was laboring for the entire time. He threw 104 pitches in 6 innings, man. He was, you don't see young guys that they even leave out that long anymore. Then they put Lucas Sims in. He only went 2/3 of an inning. He threw 36 pitches over that span. So Seattle was just really just chipping away, really milking these at bats. So they had 140 pitches, and then Diaz came in and pitched 1 1/3. He threw another 20 pitches. So we're talking 160 pitches, for the Cincinnati pitching staff, and that's just 8 innings. So they didn't, because they're not going to be a bottom of the ninth. 2 outs now.
2 outs now. With Benson up in progress here. White Sox, Royals. White Sox up 1-0. Top of the 5th. Fedde and Waka still in.
Well, the KBO MVP, Eric Fedde, dominating on the mound. Everyone knows I'm a White Sox fan, so I'm going to pump him up. But the problem with the White Sox is their bullpen stinks, so they give up a ton of runs, and their batting is even worse. I think they're under 200 both against righties and lefties. So, I mean, it's going to be a long year in Chicago. I don't mind losing. I don't mind being a bad team and losing, and at least chalking it up to a learning experience and getting some young guys in there and kind of doing all that stuff. It's when you think you're going to be good and you lose,
Well, Fedde got through it.
I can take it.
Fedde, 5 strong innings, 1 hit. Does he come back? How long do you go with Fedde?
He's it.
1 hitter.
Oh, he's a beast, man.
Yeah.
KBO MVP, man.
There you go.
KBO, he was the MVP. So they have 2 pitchers on this starting staff that pitched at least a year in Korea each. Fedde and Flexen on the same staff.
There you go.
The all Korea.
Yeah.
It's Korean All-Star team.
Yeah, replaced by Ryu, who got that big contract in Korea. Ryu back to Korea. All right, Rockies and Phillies. Phillies already lighting it up. Already 4-1 into the first.
Well, my Faulkner and Feltner parlay is dead. As I say after Feltner, I think it was a Faulkner pitched for Pittsburgh and he got lit up. So Faulkner, he had the big win against Gausman when Gausman was 245 last time out. So we're playing with house money with him. So I'm not looking too good. Not a premium play, but that never stopped me from betting a little something on it myself.
That's true. All right, we got through the game. This was a big one today because I think we had 13 in progress games or final games here on the show as we reach to the Angel game. All right, Mitch, let everybody know what's happening over at Pick Dog Sports Chat Place as we're heading into the start of the NBA playoffs here on the weekend and more.
We have a lot of exciting new things coming up, and I just can't even fit them all into a show if it was a show about that itself. We have some great things going on with the guys at Tony's Picks as well, and that'll probably evolve over the summer and start to really round into form as we head into the fall. We've got of course our Dime Club with Eric, and we have the Sharp Trading Plays with Costi. We've got, Big Al All Access, Jay All Access, Chris has an All Access. We have, of course, all our great premium picks from all of our cappers, 100% documented picks. We put our picks, when I said Jay Briggs up 3,200, our units are counted in units of 100. The reason why we count them in 100 as opposed to 1,000 like a lot of the other sites do is that's just how the sports books present the odds. So we just do them in that format. We could easily do it 1,000 and say he's up 32,000, if you dime better or whatever the case may be. We just have a lot going on and a lot behind the scenes as well. I think you guys are going to love the new redesign that's coming out in June. And like I said, I think we have the best cappers out there. So, you can go on the leaderboard. I always say this every week, and I say it every show. Buy low, man. You see someone running cold at our site, it's always an opportunity because these guys play to the back of their baseball cards. It doesn't mean they win 6 out of every 10. That when you see every 10 games, they win 6 of those. if you see that they've lost, a lower percentage than what their record states that they do on a regular year, well, more than likely they're going to be back end loaded because cappers, like baseball players, football players, they play to the back of their baseball card, and it's a crazy thing, but it just does work that way. I'm not saying that because they've won 8 baseball seasons in a row, they're going to win this baseball season. But let's just say there's a pretty good probability that they'll at least turn something for you.
There you go, guys, from Mitch. Reds now final, lose Mariners 5-1. All right, Mitch, as always, great having you show. Continued success. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, everyone, and thanks to all of our cappers that join us every day here on the drive-thru, and for everyone that joins us on the weekend shows and all that kind of other good stuff. Of course, we got tons of stuff going on here at Pick Dogs, crossing 185,000 subscribers. We're getting into the we're at 120 million views. We're getting into the big numbers now. We're up with the big boys now. So, all right, thanks everybody. It's all about you guys.
You got it. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the show as we're going to welcome back in Big Al McMordie. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. Lighten up the leaderboards, boy. NBA, NHL, great work. MLB. Big Al, what's happening?
Not much. Easy winner today with the Yankees.
Yes.
I'm surprised. I can't believe Mitch didn't take the Yankees, given how much he loves Kevin Gausman.
I know.
Makes no sense.
I know. That's the situation. Gausman having a rough year, but man, late magic there. All right, Big Al, you came in early with this one. Bulls and Hawks going head to head here. We see the Bulls laying 3, total 223.
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta, they were annihilated by the Pacers, 157-115 to end the regular season, and that 42-point defeat was Atlanta's 6th straight loss overall. Meanwhile, the Bulls ended the season red hot in Vegas. They covered their last 3 games in a row. But the good news, I think, for Quinn Snyder's team for this game is that they did get blown out in their previous game, and that blowout loss has triggered a really nice NBA system. And what we want to do is play on any rested road team off a loss by 32 or more points if they were playing an opponent with a better record. Those teams have gone 138 and 103 ATS since 1991, so it's been working for 34 years. Another reason I actually favor Atlanta in this game is Chicago, going all the way back to the Michael Jordan championship seasons. They've been brutal at home in the postseason. They're 24, 45, and 2 ATS, their last 71 home games after the regular season. So that doesn't bode well for Chicago. And also, neither does the fact that Chicago is a wallet-breaking 86 and 138 ATS at home off back-to-back point spread wins if it was playing a rested opponent. So when you add it all up, I like Atlanta plus the points here in Chicago tonight.
You got McMordie on Atlanta here, +3. If you look at the Bulls' current form post All-Star break, they have a minus net rating at home, -4.5, where they've struggled offensively, 20th in inefficiency.
That is true.
Yep. There you go. So there you go with Big Al McMordie here on this Hawks team +3 against the Bulls. Of course, we're looking forward to this Lakers and Nuggets series, right? I know the Nuggets are huge favorites. I think they open over $4, right? I don't know if you checked it.
I haven't looked at the series odds. I mean, that doesn't sound that, that sounds pretty small to me. So they're what, 80% probability to win?
I think so. That's what I heard earlier. That they had it. They were about $4 favorites at open. There was a little buy on the Lakers.
Let me just see something here. minus 385, a high of 4, a low of 350 at Westgate. I just want to see what they did in the regular season versus Denver, because that's the biggest.
Denver's
that has the best
number.
predictive value. So let me just see something here. Just curious. Do you know how the regular season series went between the two teams?
I think Denver have won. I believe they have their number. They may have swept them, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember.
Yeah, Denver will smash them. They did sweep them. So yeah, I would definitely lay the 350 to 400 with Denver.
Here you go. Big Al, of course, some opinion there. That Lakers Nuggets hit, which begins on Saturday night. Of course, we got Big Al here on Hawks +3 against the Bulls playing around tonight. The games are on ESPN. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for nice action. Limited board tonight with hockey, baseball, and NBA. Strong numbers from Big Al. Combined units here in NBA and NHL. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, I've posted a play for football already for the weekend. I won, as I mentioned, on the Yankees earlier today. That was my first baseball play of the season. I've got nothing in basketball or hockey for sale tonight, but I do have a UFL football play. It's my non-division game of the month. I've cashed 62.1% in spring football since these XFL, UFL, USFL leagues have gotten going over the last 3 years. And this play is really good. It's out of two angles that combine for a 12-0 ATS record. So if folks want to get on board, if they like betting on the UFL, just go to Pick Dogs on the premium side, and you can get on board for that football play right now.
Big Al, how long have you been? This already knows this is not just something Big Al's jumped into. You've been handicapping spring football for years and have data to back it.
No, I've been handicapping it for 3 years.
3 years, okay.
I did not handicap back in the 70s or 80s with the World Football League and the. I remember betting on the New Jersey Generals back then, but when these leagues started 3 years ago, I put it in my database and I've been handicapping.
There you go, from Big Al. All right, Big Al. Again, with Big Al McMordie, remember the long-term passes? We've got 1-1 passes, a lot of NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and baseball there. And, of course, Big Al, for those big bettors, you're all access.
Yeah, if folks want to get on board, just text Big Al to 775-636-7676. You get all of our games. You also get them rated. So that's a little bit of a difference from the premium side. We rate the games 10 stars down through 1 star. And then you also get additional plays. And if there's any other game that you want to bet on, you can always call me or text me, late at night. You have all access 24/7. And I'll get you my opinion on any game if you're liking.
That's right. Make the call or text. Get on board with Big Al. It's playoff season, man. Make the call. All right, Big Al, it's always great having a show. And we'll catch up with you again on the show tomorrow.
Thanks, Tony. Good luck to you.
Yeah, Big Al McMordie here on the Drive to. Let's continue here on the show. Up next, we'll bring in Matt Fargo, catch him over at Pick Dogs. We'll bring Matt in right now. Coverage today here from the Major League Baseball. We got the games covered for you here today in prime time. Matt, what's happening?
Hey, Tony. How we doing, bud?
Doing awesome. All right, here we go tonight. Red Sox and Guardians going head-to-head here. We see the Red Sox $1.28, total 8.5.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at Boston here. The line doesn't really coincide with how these teams are playing right now. Boston, they lost the first 2 of the series, and they've lost 6 of the last 8 overall, all of which have been at home. Cleveland, meanwhile, they have the best record in baseball right now going into today. So Boston coming in as a favorite might be surprising to some people, but I think the pitching matchup dictates that. Boston goes with Tanner Houck, who is coming off a shaky outing against the Angels as the last start. 4 runs on 12 hits, I believe. But prior to that, he had 2 straight 6-inning shutout starts. So he's a 2.04 ERA so far. He's pitching well. He has a definitely tough matchup against his offense. The Guardians' offense has been crushing it this year so far. So he's got a tough matchup. The reason I really like it, though, is down the other side. Cleveland is starting Ben Lively. It's his first start. It's come off the IL. He's not going to get stretched out. I would not think, 4 or 5 innings maybe. And what brings that into the important part of it is the fact that, the Indians, used a ton of their bullpen last night. I said Indians, why keep doing that? The Guardians used 6 relievers last night. They used 3 the prior day, and then they used 5 on Sunday against the Yankees. So I think the bullpen will be taxed a little bit, and this I think is a great opportunity for Boston's offense, which has been pretty inconsistent so far this year, to finally get going. And I think it's a decent price. I'm typically not a favorite player, but it's reasonable. It opened at 145. It's down to 135. You can catch it at 130 in some places. I even saw 127 somewhere, maybe a better line. But I think it's a good price for Boston to get back in the win column and hopefully take it and then try to even this series before it closes tomorrow.
There you go, Matt, here on the Red Sox. So you're line shopping, you see 120 up there, 135. Go out there and get your best line. You have multiple outs. That's the way to go here. Yeah, Guardians off to that fast start, although they did take a hit here to their starting rotation. We'll see how that will impact their bullpen going forward because, we're seeing Lively in here, these arm injuries in baseball.
Right, exactly. Like the loss of Bieber's huge, and right now it's BB, and they really don't have a top line starter right now. So I think their top three is comparable to most 3 through 5 in some teams, and Lively had a rough year in Cincinnati last year, and I don't think he pitched for 2 years prior to that, so he's not a guy who's going to give you a lot, but they're hoping he can be a spot guy and come in, and the way the offense is playing, that's all they need is the starters to be serviceable, because the bullpen has been great.
Yeah,
the bullpen has been phenomenal so far. And that's that's obviously a huge part of baseball right now. Early in the season, I think we talked about it last week and the week before, that early in the season, you don't want to stretch your starters too long, and so your bullpen is so important.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Cleveland has used their bullpen a ton over the last few nights could impact them tonight for sure.
Yeah, that could catch up to them. We see that a lot with the Rockies when they're at home. They eat up a lot of innings with their relievers, and it kind of catches up to them.
Yeah,
right?
That's where you don't want to do that. Exactly. Of course. No.
That's the thing with the relievers at Coors. They get a lot of innings, and it kills them there when they hit the road and they get into those summer months. You start to see that. Usually, sometimes you see a little early success from them, but you don't see it this year. But before, we've seen in the past, they've had a little April, a little early May success, and then boom, they start to tank when they get these big homestands. Red Sox here, minus 135, top of the hour. All right, now let's take a look over at Pick.com for tonight's action. Of course, on the board tonight, handful of games, just a couple on the board, NBA play-in rounds, but the big games still 4 on the ice, a couple in primetime baseball. What do you have going on over at Pick.com Premium?
Yeah, I have one game going tonight, the NBA play-in, Heat versus Sixers. I'm on a 39-24 run in the NBA, so we're going to try to keep that going tonight. Looking forward to Friday, and then series action starts on Saturday, so looking forward to a big playoff run this season.
That's right, guys. Got it both. Matt Fargo over at Pick Dogs, a premium. Remember that 7-day pass will get you a lot of playoff action. We get the remainder of the playing round. And remember, the NBA playoffs begin here with those 4 games on Saturday and Sunday. I know we stretch into Monday, Tuesday, in the playoff next week. So that these long-term passes are great. Remember, they're going to start the NHL playoffs as well on Saturday too. I think the Eastern Conference will be in action because we got tomorrow. It's all Western Conference, so probably we'll have some Eastern Conference playoff games. They like to get those East Coast games in for the major networks for these TV deals. So get on board. Pick is a promo code, save that 15% off. Right, Matt, as always, great having you show. Have yourself a great evening, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Cheers, man.
You as well. Matt Fargo here on the drive through. Let's continue on here. Speaking of the ice, we've got some ice coverage here. Rod Zawacky, he's been good to us here. Catch him over at Pick Dodgeman. We'll bring him in right now with coverage here on the ice, and we'll see who he likes. Interesting here in tonight's game. Of course, he will be covering a game a team that's near to him, but I think he's seen it the right way. Rod, what's happening? Oh, we might have lost Rod Zawacky there for a second. If we did, then we're going to jump ahead and go to Dana Lane. So we're going to jump the shark here and go to Dana Lane, catch him over at Pick Dodge Premium. He's been on a tear over on the site, man. If you've seen his numbers, it's been outstanding. Let's bring in Dana in right now. Dana, what's happening?
Hey, buddy, how you doing?
Doing great. All right. Well, it's good we get you now because your game starts top of the hour. Rod's game starts later, so this kind of works out because it's a interesting game. Interesting games here. A lot of the playoff seeds have been decided, but in this one you're going to be looking at here. Let me pull it up here for a second here. I know we've got you here on this. If I'm not mistaken, Penguins and Islanders game.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's minus $1.30 on the road against the New York Islanders, and we knew that Patrick Waugh was going to sit some guys. He alluded to that last night in the post-game press conference, but today we got the list of the guys that will be out for the Islanders, and that includes Aho, Matthew Barzal is going to be out of the lineup, Hudson Fasching is going to be out of the lineup here, Engvall is also going to be out. So there are going to be some guys out for the Islanders. That always makes me a little bit worried because you got guys that are like, hey, look, now I have an opportunity to shine, especially going into the postseason. But the fact of the matter is the Penguins will probably have the better of the lineups on the ice tonight. And I know that Pittsburgh's probably very disappointed after not making the postseason. They had a really good run down the stretch after a bad start that really hurt them. I mean, we talk all the time about, well, it's only April. It doesn't matter if you lose baseball games, or it's only October. Well, their starts, the Penguins start is the reason why they're not in the postseason this year. They were 8-3 down the stretch. Nedeljkovic, who's going to start tonight, was 10-0-3 in his last 13 games. So interesting development there as well, because Mike Sullivan is electing to go with Nedeljkovic instead of Tristan Jarry, who was supposed to be the number one guy there. That's going to be interesting, considering Nedeljkovic is going to be a UFA at the end of the year. But he's been playing extremely strong. And then, on Pittsburgh Sports Radio today, there was some questions as to whether Mike Sullivan was the guy to lead this team. So if I thought that there might, as much as we think, well, the Islanders are going to be shorthanded. In fact, I don't know what they're going to do in that fourth line tonight, because they're down a forward. If we thought the Islanders were going to be down, and the flip side of that was, well, I mean, Pittsburgh just got knocked out of the postseason too. Are they going to have the motivation? And I think there's a lot of question marks going into the postseason that, there will be a lot of motivation on the Penguins side to send this thing into a positive manner heading into the postseason. So I like Pittsburgh tonight minus the $1.30.
Pittsburgh tonight, laying the 131 is 120. Do your line shopping and get the best numbers. Now, of course, right now we've got the playoff teams in. We just need to know who's going to play who, right? That's the question mark. Who are the Rangers? Are the Rangers going to draw Washington in that first round?
Yeah, it looks like that will probably be the case. And it is so interesting. I was thinking about this today, just going through the games and handicapping the games. It's, it is truly, I mean, a good friend of mine, Brian Blessing, used to say, this is truly the postseason of just get in and anything can happen. And that's the way it is in the NHL. I mean, we just saw last night, the Ottawa Senators went into Boston and had no business beating the Boston Bruins or playing. Boston had all the motivation in the world and knocked off the Bruins. So it is so, we talk about how good the Rangers are. And, of course, they, won the President's Cup and will be the number one seed overall as long as they're in the postseason. But the fact of the matter is the difference between 1 and 8 is so it's razor thin. I mean, imagine if the Vegas Golden Knights, which they still could, are in that last wild card spot. I mean, who wants to play the defending champions, even if you're the Dallas Stars? I don't think I would. So that's why the NHL postseason is so unpredictable. But it is clearly, aside from the NFL, of course, it is clearly the most exciting, because you really just do not know who's going to get through the postseason.
Yeah, and the Kings tomorrow can decide who they want to play in the first round. Because if they lose, they're going to draw Dallas, and if they win, well, they could be in the mix to face Edmonton in that 2-3 game. Yeah, the West is really interesting, Tony, because I don't know. I mean, if you're the Vegas Golden Knights, I mean, is it really a reward if you get into that third spot and then you face off against the Edmonton Oilers, who are probably looking for revenge after last season? I don't know if that's the reward, but I think maybe if you're Vegas or LA, I think you'd rather play the devil you know rather than the one you don't. But man, that's a tough matchup with the Oilers. We always think that the Oilers are ready, are primed and ready, but again, I mean, I'm looking so much about postseason success is about depth, and I just look at their bottom six. And, I guess now that Rod comes behind me now, I can riff on his team a little bit. But, go ahead. I don't know if I'll make it today.
Okay, well, I just think that the bottom six is just a little thin. And that's my only issue. And you have to be depth is so much of a part of whether or not you go deep into the postseason, just simply because you cannot lean on your top six against these great teams night in, night out. You can lean on them against, when you're playing the bottom feeders of the league sometimes. But when you have to have four lines, because when you're playing tough minutes, everybody's playing tough minutes, that's when depth comes up. And that's why Edmonton has had such a hard time, besides just really a lack of a bona fide number one goaltender there. That's why they've had so many problems, despite the fact that their points should suggest that they should go deep into the postseason.
Yeah, but that's my argument why the Kings are in the playoffs, because the teams behind them are so weak. Coyotes, Ducks, Sharks, Kraken, Flames. I mean, I think they took advantage of a dead bottom of a dead West in the bottom rank.
Yeah, and I worry about that a lot too, Tony, because when you're talking about, especially in that Pacific Division, the Coyotes at times, they were at least fairly competitive. We could do a whole show on them, but I just worry, like when you're playing the Ducks and the Sharks as many times as teams in the Pacific Division have, I just wonder when you get deep into the postseason how that affects you as far as not playing the games that are meaningful. They'll play a lot less games that are meaningful than say teams, any team in the East, and certainly maybe a team in the Central. I mean, the best thing that happened to the Central Division teams, the top three, with Winnipeg, Dallas, and Colorado, even though they separated at the end, the best thing was it was a 3-team race up until 2.5 weeks ago, and that's really going to help them down the stretch because they've been essentially playing playoff hockey for a month or so.
Well, the good news there is when the Dolphins went 14-0, the Jets, Patriots, and Bills were horrible teams. Horrible teams.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot to do with that too when you play them twice a year as well. But it is interesting. I mean, I think the NHL is the biggest crapshoot in the postseason that's out there. And if you told me that the Golden Knights were going to go deep into the postseason again, I could see that too. I mean, the difference between them and we saw that against Colorado the other night, one of the teams that people considered to be a favorite in the West. They came back from a 3-0 deficit and stole that game from the Avalanche. So anything can happen, and that's why the NHL is definitely much watch or definitely must see if you have not watched during the regular season.
There's a reason why Barkley on TNT in his NBA contest. Let's get this halftime show over. I want to go back and watch the NHL playoffs. So it's no mistake there.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him because in the NBA, Tony, I mean, you can't really say that. I mean, there's a lot of blowouts in the postseason, and fortunately, by the way that the NHL scores games, everything is, unless it's a 4 or 5 goal game, I mean, everything is really close and anything can happen. It's amazing to me, really, how, we know globally the NBA is an absolute monster, but it is amazing to me how the NHL is everything you would think an American fan would want. And they're certainly packed in these arenas, except for a few places, but you would think that this sport would be right up there with the NBA on a consistent basis.
Yeah, live experience, nothing like it there. And according they did a poll of waitresses and waiters and food servers. NHL fans are the best tippers, by the way, in case you were wondering. So that came out as well.
I have heard that, and I've also heard that fans that go see bands that were in the heyday in the 1980s, they are also the best tippers. So I guess that makes sense because, they probably got more money than the ones that grew up in the early 2000s.
No doubt about that. All right, Dana here on the Penguins. They the 120 here against the Islanders. All right, hitting the witching hour. All right, Dan, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Premium, where you put up some solid numbers in the NBA this year. 842 units of profit. We also have on the board a few of those playing rounds heading into the NBA playoffs, as well as high action on the ice. A few in baseball. What do you have going on over at Pick Dodge Premium?
Yeah, no, the baseball game's over, so no baseball game tonight. Thank you to everybody who got involved. 2 NHL games. I just gave away one. Sorry about that. So I guess it's on me, but I do still have 1 NHL game that's up there, and I have 3 of the NBA games. So 3 packs up there for $49.99. Get all 3 of my top NBA plays for tonight for one low price. And of course, the all-access passes are the way to go if you want every single one of my selections every single day for one low price.
That's right, guys. Got to go with Dana Lane over at Pick.com. Great results in the NBA. Also, all sports combined, 681 units of profit. Dana's been doing great work, guys. Long-term pass, the way to go. Remember that 1-month pass will take you over to May 16th, which is a lot of NBA into the first 2 rounds of the NBA playoffs, as well as the NHL playoffs. All the baseball. Promo code PICK at checkout. We'll save you that 15% off, right? Dana, as always, great here on your show. Continue that success. We'll catch up with you again next week, but we always can catch your Against the Public betting with your video series.
Yeah, Against the Public up every night, probably about 7, 8 o'clock Pacific time. Go through all the early betting patterns, all the early numbers, try to get it out there as quickly as possible so people could jump on the best number. And we've had tremendous success, already a 2-1 day in the MLB right now. We're on this sick run in the free play. So make sure that you get involved in that and watch that every single day and hit the like and subscribe button. And Tony, I thought you were going to ask me about college hockey, so I studied all up, and I have determined that I think that that Boston College was probably the better of the two teams, but unfortunately lost to Denver 2-0. So Denver Pioneers, if you want to ask me again this week, that is my best team in college hockey.
Best team in college
considering
hockey.
they're the champions.
Because I knew you were the voice of a UNLV hockey, right?
Yeah, did UNLV hockey for a long time, and they went to the ACHA finals this year and lost that game. But man, they were always knocking on the door. Anthony Vigneri-Greener, their head coach there, has done a fantastic job, and I know everybody over there is focused on making them a Division I school, and everybody tells them you win a title and you're on your way. But the key for UNLV going Division I, Tony, is certainly the football program having success. And if that football program can infuse money into the program, that just benefits everybody. So we're all if you're a Rebel fan, every one of us should be rooting for that football program to be top notch from year to year. And they're on their way.
There you go. All right, Dana, as always, great having you on the show. Continue your success. We'll catch up with you again next week.
All right, Tony. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Dana Lane here on The Drive Thru. We'll continue here on our show, guys. If you miss any pick, we're going to recap it right now. You'll get my pick. My pick's going to be for a Sunday game info. We'll just go to the recap here and recap the plays. Rod wasn't able to make it. Must internet issues there. We don't know, but Rod's been a great contributor. We're going to get his pick, though. You'll be surprised with it. Here we go. Chris on Angels, plus 103 against Rays. Mitch was on Heat, plus 5.5 against 76ers. Big on McMordie like the Hawks, plus 3 against the Bulls. Matt on Red Sox laid their $1.35 against Guardians. Wayne was a late scratch. Ron Coyotes, plus 151 against the Oilers. Of course, this is the Arizona's last game in Arizona. They're going to be moving to Utah next year. How will they be received? Will there be sentiment? Will there be cries? Or will the Coyote fans cry in celebration because they're going to go to the Delta Center, which will seat more fans, right? We'll see how they feel because they never really got the support of the city. So you got to wonder how they feel about this move. Is there sentiment, or they're just happy to get the hell out of Dodge? So we'll see tonight because Oilers are already locked in their seed. Pittsburgh Penguins here laying 120 here with Dana. I like the Lakers and Nuggets over 223 in game one. I might as well just say it here. It's game number one. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of defensive intensity. I like over early, under late. And I agree kind of with these line moves here with over 223. The Lakers defense, I don't think will be as tight in this spot. It's just game one. And the elevation goes a little bit with it as well. And of course the Nuggets offense, both teams will have plenty of rest. Of course the Nuggets more rest in this game than the Lakers. Although the Lakers might have helped them to play that game on Tuesday, coming back on a Saturday. We'll see how that goes because they had to play 2 meaningful games to close out. Nuggets kind of coughed away that 1 seed with that loss they had late in the year. So we'll see how that rolls there. So Lakers draw the Nuggets in game one. A lot of folks wondering how it's going to be. I just think the Lakers have the better shot playing the Nuggets in the first round of the series instead of playing the Western Conference. If the Lakers play the Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, that means the Lakers had to survive 2 playoff series. So let's say they go 7-1, 6 in another, plus your playing rounds. You're looking at 14 games in a short period of time before you face the Nuggets in the Western Conference Final. I think the Lakers are playing them early in the playoff in round one. I think that's to their benefit because of how old they are. And also remember this about Denver. From my eyes, I haven't verified this on the numbers. From my eyes, I believe that the Nuggets are not as strong as last year, not as hungry as last year. Doesn't mean they're not the best team in the NBA still, but I don't see them as strong as last year. Also, too, a quote that has stuck with me since day one of the NBA season. The general manager of the Denver Nuggets had a conversation with a reporter. It was supposed to be off the record. But the reporter misinterpreted it, thought it was supposed to be on the record. He thought he said on the record. GM said this was off the record. But anyway, a reporter quoted the GM of the Nuggets coming into the season saying that his Nuggets team looked exhausted coming into the season. And that kind of stuck with me throughout the whole season. Looking at the Nuggets, they didn't seem to have that same zip, didn't seem to have that same hunger that they had last year. We'll see if fatigue is a factor, because obviously the GM figured that fatigue was a factor coming in. The team did not look as sound. I saw the Nuggets in their championship year in the preseason. And that team was running up and down the court with lots of energy, lots of motivation. Didn't see that same type of spark from them this year. Were they kind of reserving it for the postseason? Is the fatigue going to be an issue after that long season last year? Did you remember those GM words stated that? So there you go. All right, guys. Now it's time. We didn't have the chat pick today because there's nothing. I mean, there's meaningless games up here on the board. We covered pretty much it was a small board, so I'm not going to force something onto you. You guys don't handicap as much, so for meaningless games. So now it's time to give us your show pick of the day. So get your show pick of the day into the chat there, and we'll read it off here as you got my pick, Georgia Lakers Nuggets over 223 in game number 1. So get your picks in there right now, guys. All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Drive-Thru, guys. Be sure to tune in again tomorrow live at 6 Eastern Time. We'll do it all over again. We'll bring our cappers here from Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. We'll get out the plays for you in real time. Remember to always get started with that morning show. We're live here 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time with Mitch, Chris, and of course we also have Jay in the morning show. So you guys want to check that out as well. And of course you want to check out Jay's Jam Session, NBA, Mitch's 7 Picks in 5 Minutes, his Betting Tool Show, roundtable discussion with professionals. He's shooting more of those short series, so check those out. Of course, around the league here from Chris in the NHL, as well as Zawacky, A to Z coverage from the NHL. I'll pick from every game on the board against our public betting here with Dana Lane, Big Al Morty, go all access with Big Al, and also to the boxing video series with Wayne. And of course, we also have series here from Ron Romanelli, baseball breakdown. We also have Mills with his prop shop and his UFC rundown. You want to catch that. Of course, the Nerfies from Brad, the parlay short from our man Jovan. So more video series there for you guys. So make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications. So when we're live, you're live with us to get the picks. All right, let's go over the show picks of the day here. Ron Crawford, KBO with Kawum here at -106. Blake likes the Angels money line and the Heat plus 5.5. There you go there with the play of the day. So get your show picks in there, guys. What else do we have here tonight? Boston from Vibrous Ace tonight. I'm assuming that's Boston Red Sox. And we've got Chris White Thunder under 223 Bulls and Hawks. Chris White Thunder show pick under 223 Bulls and the Hawks. April coming in with the Heat here. The Heat coming in here at, what do we got here? Heat's here at plus 5.5 from April. And what else do we have here? Let's see what we've got. Matthews anytime goal. Kuch assist as well at the plus price. What else do we have here? NHL bets Fad for Arizona over 17.5. Well, that was money. That was already played here. Let's see if there's anything else here. I think we got all the games here from everybody. Let me check it out here. Nope, looks like we got last call for your best bets, your show picks. Coyotes from Pete Ramirez, big money there. And I think we've got it all set. We did catch April's pick there, if you would. That's in there as well. All right, we're all set, guys. That's going to do it for our show. Thanks for your contributions. Let's bring in our crew from night. Going to wave goodbye to you guys.